Hey guys, welcome to the Magfed Ranch Paintball channel, and today I'm going to be doing some Magfed myth busting. But before I get into it guys, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share, and comment. Okay guys, so today's Magfed myth busting topic is going to be what is the dimensions of the factory stock T15 barrel. You know, so what is the outer bore diameter, the inner bore diameter, the length. How do they determine that length? Is it smooth? Is it rifled? You know, what type of muzzle device are they using? Pretty much this is kind of a tabletop review as well, guys, but it's also more of just kind of like answering some questions out there because these specifications aren't posted on, you know, First Strike's website, or it's not really readily available. So hopefully by giving you guys this information, you guys will have, you know, obviously more info to make your decisions as far as what barrels you want to use moving forward, or if you're just going to use the factory barrel moving forward. Okay, so let's begin, guys. I'm going to move the camera in closer, and then I'm going to take all these measurements for you, and then yeah, we'll figure out what these dimensions are. Let's begin. Okay guys, so just before we begin, just some clarifications. This T15 I just purchased recently. This is the newest version as far as I'm aware. You know, it has the M-lock handguard, the barrel. It has the new barrel sleeve included. It's not, once again guys, it's not the adjustable barrel sleeve with the threaded tip. It's just a sleeve that works with their new M-lock handguard. But of course, as you will see here shortly, it does eliminate the barrel wobble as well because it's made for the factory barrel. Okay guys, so yeah, let's just get that out of the way. I also have a couple other barrels here for comparison, guys. I have a 16-inch hammerhead FSR rifled barrel that I have here. That was off one of my other builds, and I'll show you guys the differences between that barrel and the factory T15 barrel. And then of course I have the 14-inch, although if you guys check out my other video where I do a review on this barrel, it's actually closer to 10 inches. And that's one of the things I wanted to obviously clarify for you guys as well on this video, as where and how they take the measurements to determine the length of the barrels, okay guys, from manufacturer to manufacturer. But yeah, this is quote unquote the 14-inch FSR rifled barrel from Lapco, and it is 0.683 inner diameter bore, whereas the hammerhead rifled barrel is a 0.687 okay rifled inner bore. Okay guys, I also have a couple of rounds here so that way I can compare the dimensions for you guys. I have obviously just a normal FSR round. This is of course our Mark 68 Mod 1, but in terms of dimensionally wise, it's very similar to all the other First Strike rounds. And then of course I have an FMCS shape projectile practice round, zeroing round, testing round, and I'll go into the dimensions of this first with you guys as well too, okay? All right, so let's begin with the factory barrel, guys. The dimensions, the outer diameter on it, I'll take a measurement for you guys here. Hopefully I'll switch it here so you guys can see, but it is 1 inch. Okay guys, so the factory T15 outer diameter is 1 inch. Okay guys, so what does that mean? That means that the barrel sleeve that is now included with the T15 is meant for 1 inch diameter barrels. Okay guys, see, as you guys can see here, slides in, rotates, and as you guys can notice here, it eliminates pretty much all of the barrel wobble, guys. We no longer have to make the barrel tight with this adjustment screw here, guys. This screw, once again, is for the detents on the barrel adapter, guys. As you guys would notice here, it slides into the groove, and then as you rotate the adapter to the different positions, right, you can see the little detents here. It either goes for the Magfed system, or if you rotate it one more time, it'll work with the hopper adapter. Okay guys, so that new sleeve that they include with this handguard, because that's how the handguard bolts to the receiver, it also acts as a barrel stabilizer. So now you'll notice that the barrel wobble is pretty much non-existent, guys. It's pretty much eliminated. So the good news now is that that will also work with the hammerhead barrel, because the hammerhead barrels, guys, are 1 inch in diameter as well. And so you will see here that the hammerhead barrel will slide in and lock into place as well. Okay, and then you'll notice too, it has just a slight wobble, probably due to maybe manufacturing tolerance differences, guys. But for the most part, the barrel wobble is eliminated. It's nowhere near what a factory previous generation T15 would have produced. Now, once again, we can still tighten it further with the screw, but for the most part, that barrel wobble is eliminated. And then, of course, since it is a 1 inch diameter, oh, let me get the adapter out, guys. All right. Once we get that other barrel out, guys, now we can try the Lapco quote-unquote 14-inch barrel, and you guys will notice that the Lapco barrel is 1 inch in diameter as well, and it'll slide in no problem, bam bam, and once again the barrel wobble is pretty much eliminated. Now you'll notice that the Lapco barrel and of course the factory T15 barrel does not have as much wobble as the hammerhead barrel. My guess is that the Lapco barrels are closer to the 1 inch diameter that their sleeve is machined out to as well. So since they're the same company, it just fits a little bit better. Okay, guys? So that's the outer diameter, guys, and then what barrel diameters will work with the sleeve. So, you know, that is clarified now. It's going to be a 1 inch outer diameter barrel, guys. That's going to work with the sleeve. The next dimension that I want to present to you guys is going to be the inner diameter of the stock T15 barrel. Okay, guys? So what is the inner diameter of this barrel? And with I have a couple rounds here to show you guys. So most of the first strike rounds, guys, just your normal first strike rounds, is 0.686 to 0.687 diameter. Okay, guys? And so you'll notice here that that round slides into the factory T15 barrel very easily. And it's actually a little loose. It's not perfectly 0.686 or 0.687. In comparison with the hammerhead barrel, as you guys will see here, because this barrel is supposed to be 0.687, you guys will notice that it's a little bit of a tighter fit. Now, it still slides in and out, as you guys can see here, but you'll notice that, you see that it kind of sticks. It's not as loose as the factory T15 barrel. Okay, so I would say the hammerhead barrel is probably closer to 0.687, because maybe this round is a 0.686. But as you guys can see on the factory barrel, it doesn't really stay there. So my guess is that it's probably bigger than 0.687. Okay. Now let's use this other round, the practice round from MCS, to see if it's as big as this diameter. So guys, this round, the shape projectile round from MCS has an outer diameter of approximately 0.693. So quite significantly bigger than your standard first strike rounds. Okay, so 0.693 to 0.694. And you guys will notice here, you see, it actually fits pretty nicely in the factory T15 barrel. It's sticking, so I don't think the factory barrel is exactly 0.693. I'd say it's going to be closer, if my guess is, it's going to be closer to 0.692, maybe 0.691, but it's definitely on the high side compared to a first strike round, guys. And then of course, it's just a smoothbore barrel, guys. It's not rifled or anything like that. So if you want to have the most maximized, paintball diameter with your factory T15 barrel, select a round ball diameter that is closer to 0.690, 0.691. Okay, guys? That should give you the best round to bore match. But that's also why I don't recommend the factory barrel with the with FSR rounds, right, guys? Because it's way too big. Okay. Whereas comparison here, if you see the 0.687, you'll notice that it sticks right at the very beginning already, guys, and it's kind of tight. Okay. Kind of got that stuck a little bit there. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, the hammerhead barrel is going to be closer to 0.687, and of course on the Lapco 0.683, this is going to be even significantly tighter, and you'll notice here that it doesn't even slide. The fins specifically doesn't slide past the barrel, so this is even a little bit smaller, guys, so it won't slide past that. Okay, guys, so just FYI, if you're trying to get the right bore diameter to work with what rounds you're trying to use, just make sure you're using the correct barrel. And then I will show you guys the first strike round in there, and you'll notice that it fits a lot better. So yeah, so the first strike round actually even fits inside the 0.683 slightly before it stops. Okay, guys? Okay, yeah, so once again, the inner diameter of the factory T15 barrel is going to be closer to a 0.691, 0.692, somewhere right around there, 0.690 in essence. So on the bigger side, guys, okay? Let's talk about the muzzle device real quick. So obviously the thread pitch on the muzzle device, guys, is going to be a 7/8 thread. It's going to be very similar to the Lapco barrel thread. So you notice that this is the factory muzzle device. This is the muzzle device that came with the 14-inch Lapco barrel. And you notice that, unfortunately, this isn't long enough to work. You'll notice that the two different threads links on the rifle barrel versus the factory barrel, it's not long enough, so it won't take the Lapco barrel muzzle device. But however, the factory T15 muzzle device, the thread pitch is the same thread pitch as the Lapco muzzle brake. Okay, so that's, like I said, a 7/8 thread pitch. Okay, guys. Whereas it does not work with the hammerhead barrels, guys, because the hammerhead barrel is a 22 millimeter thread pitch. And so you'll notice here, obviously I don't want to damage the threads, but see that it just stops. It won't thread down properly onto the hammerhead barrel, similar to the Lapco. Okay, guys. So yeah, so the Lapco and First Strike thread pitches for their muzzle devices is a 7/8, and the hammerhead is a 22 millimeter, as you guys see here. Okay, so they're not interchangeable. Now, let's talk about the length. How do they determine the length? I think this is the measurement that everyone is curious about, right? Because let's start with the Lapco quote-unquote 14-inch barrel, okay, guys? And I'm going to move our marker out of the way here to show you guys with the measuring tape. So on First Strike Lapco's website, they say that this barrel is 14 inches. And how they determine that, guys, is the full length of the barrel assembly, okay? So I just want to make that clear. It's the barrel assembly that they're measuring. So you notice that here, guys, 14 inches, right? Bam. They're measuring pretty much the tip included, and also the adapter piece as well. The piece that has the slots on it, guys, so that way it'll slide into the receiver of the T15, and of course the slot, and then you can obviously turn it into its positions. Okay, guys, so when they're taking 14 inches into account, they're taking the full barrel assembly with the device, the adapter, and everything. So same, the problem is the actual barrel length is different. And I want to demonstrate that here with you guys with the hammerhead barrel, because the hammerhead barrel is more true to length. So it does not take into account the muzzle device and then also the barrel adapter. For example, if we measured it the way Lapco measures it, this barrel is closer to, you guys will notice, closer to 20 inches. But this isn't actually, like I was telling you guys, a 16-inch barrel, okay? So how they measure it is, since this adapter is removable on the hammerhead barrel, because you need it to get it to work with the T15, and of course the muzzle device is removable as well. It's, you know, changing, you can change it out. They're just measuring just the barrel length itself, okay guys? And so when you measure just the barrel length itself, you will see here that, bam, it's 16 inches, okay? Right to the dot, okay guys? So how do we determine what the actual barrel length of the Lapco and First Strike T15 barrels are then? Well, the easiest first step, of course, is removing the muzzle device, right? So make sure that you don't have any muzzle device on your barrel. And then, now that we have a reference at which to measure the end side, the adapter side of the barrel, guys, it's pretty much this groove. The groove that the barrel adapter slides into the receiver. That is the starting point at which you're supposed to measure the barrel. Okay, so as you guys can see here with the hammerhead barrel, if I take the measuring correctly, you'll see that it ends right at the groove. You see that, guys? Take this barrel out of the way. Okay, you'll see that it literally ends right at where this slot begins. Okay, so knowing that, the Lapco barrel, like I told you guys, is closer to 10 inches. And actually, we'll measure it right now. It's actually, bam, 11 and a half inches, guys, roughly. Okay, 11 and a half inches is technically the correct length of the Lapco quote-unquote 14-inch rifled barrel. Okay, guys? That's why I was trying to tell you guys it matched up and it looks so close to our 10-inch MR18 rifle builds, right? Because those builds have a 10-inch hammerhead barrel, but this barrel resembled those builds closer, because as you guys can see here with the measurement, it was closer to 11 and a half inches. Okay, so what is the length of the factory T15 barrel then? Okay, so once again, we have the muzzle removed, the muzzle device removed from the factory T15 barrel. And if we're using this slot right here as the other end point, we measure from the end of the threads to that slot. We're looking at roughly 11 and a quarter inches, guys. Okay, so the factory T15 barrel is 11 and a quarter inches approximately. Okay, guys, so yeah, those are all the dimensions of the barrel. The outer diameter is 1 inch, so any 1 inch barrel will work with the factory T15 sleeve that comes with the handguard here, guys. The inner diameter is approximately 0.690 to 0.691, somewhere around there, guys. So a bigger diameter than your First Strike rounds will be. And the length of the barrel is approximately 11 and a quarter inches. Okay, guys. So yeah, so hopefully that, that demystified any of the questions or, concerns we had out there with what the factory barrel is from the T15, and also what other barrels out there would fit the sleeve of the T15. Okay, guys. So yeah, hopefully you guys like that video. Smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Check you guys next time. Peace.